The recording is started. Good evening and welcome to our AAPAC meeting. Tonight is November 30th at roughly 6:15 p.m. The first thing we're going to do is everyone should have been attached the resolution for our AAPAC. In short, that resolution states that in March of 2020, our governor has declared California in a state of emergency due to the pandemic. So in order to hold this meeting virtually, we still must adhere to all the laws by being a Brown Act committee, making sure we are accessible to our public to provide public comments. So if you would please in the chat, if you would put your name and approve the resolution. If everyone approves or the majority approves, we will close this meeting and then start our regular meeting. So this in the chat, if you could just type yes or no if you approve. And I do have a hand raised. Nope. Okay. 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 Perfect. So we are going to end the special meeting. Now we're going to start the regular meeting. Then Kimberly, I'll answer your question. Okay. Start the regular meeting. Once again, today is November 30th. At roughly 6:16 p.m. for our regular scheduled AAPAC meeting. We are currently will be accepting public comments. If there's anybody in public who would like to join us, they could raise their hand and then we will provide public comment. The first thing I want you to do is type in your name in the chat so we know that who's in attendance. And then I do see a hand raised from Kimberly, and then we'll get to her question. So if you could just type in the chat your name again, so we could do roll call that way. Looks like everyone has done that. So roll call is taking. Okay, Kimberly, I believe you have a hand raised. Do you have a question now, or you want to wait until we get going?
Actually, I raised my hand inadvertently, so my
okay, no problem. So the first thing I want to do is approve the minutes from our last meeting. So if you approve those minutes, you could also put, if you approve them, and then I'm going to turn it over to our chair to run the rest of the meeting. So if you could just put approve yes or no if you approve the minutes. You should have received a copy of that, I believe, today. One minute. Perfect. Meeting notes have been approved, so I'm going to turn it over to our chair to run the rest of the meeting tonight. So it's all yours now.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. Welcome, Bridget. We thank you as a new member, I would say. Are we at it? Can we say that?
I would love to. Most definitely.
Okay, good. Did you fill out the application and submit that?
Not yet.
No, okay. Okay, but you have the application access to it, yeah?
You know, I haven't. I'll double check the email to see if it's there.
Okay, or we could resend it to you also, right? All right, so let's see. I'm not looking at the agenda. I guess I should pull it up. I'm sorry, I'm so used to Greg being the
I think what's on it is just the events that we discussed last meeting, BSU district-wide events, the T-shirt design,
Yeah.
HBCU Info Night, Google Classroom, and then a meeting with Tyson.
Oh, yes. So we did have a special meeting, a subgroup meeting a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and it was with Tyson Amir, I believe his last name is, and he is introducing a program to us. You know, and it's based around a Black education curriculum. I think most of us were there. I think Bridget, maybe Chris, and so I guess we want to, and then talk about if we want to proceed forward with, I guess, introducing his curriculum and also proceed forward with the collaboration of his, program, his service programs, along with what we're doing and trying to create and establish around the BSU district wide. So we want to talk about that? Anybody have anything? Kimberly, I guess you followed up with Mark Gaskin, who's also got some insight in regards to the BSU and different college preparatory program services. So maybe if you want to fill us in about that while I pull up the agenda.
I did have a conversation with Mark with regard to the Village Method. I shared the videos at our last meeting based on their capability. I invited him to come to our next meeting, which is scheduled for December 13th, correct? And not yet from him. I offered him an opportunity to come and present their capabilities and see if there's an opportunity for a partnership there, but I have not heard back from him as of yet. So I will ping him again by this Friday.
Okay.
I do want to make a comment on Tyson. I thought that discussion we had with him was very empowering.
Yeah.
I think it got us very interested in what he might be able to do for us. We do have a meeting Thursday with Tyson and Kim Kelly, who's the director of curriculum and instruction. So that is a very good spot for us to see how we can move forward. But he said a lot of things that really at least got my attention on what might be a real benefit to all of our students in FUSD. So at the next meeting, I could kind of give you an update on how that meeting went with the director of curriculum instruction. I also spoke to our assistant superintendent, Ms. Salinas, about how great that discussion was. So everyone is looking forward to what that next step might be. And one thing that really grabbed my attention was there could be multiple things that we could do with Tyson. It all doesn't have to be done right now in the next 2 months, because some of them, might be a kind of a long-term solution to what we're kind of working on. But I thought I was very energized after that meeting, after a long day.
Yeah.
It was pretty empowering, and I think he could bring that to our community, which in essence helps all of our students. So
let me ask you this: if you're going to provide an update at our next meeting, would that be a good time to have Mark speak and attend, or Mark can kind of come and then go? He wouldn't sit for the duration of the meeting.
Yeah, I think we could time it where he could be excused or maybe come after our discussion, because we don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Agreed. That was my point. I just wanted to make sure that we kept it.
Yeah, but that would be fine with me.
Okay.
So I guess if the meeting starts at 6, we invite maybe Mark or one of them first at 6 to 6:30, or vice versa, right? Okay. Also, in regards to Tyson, I spoke to the Human Relations Commission and for the city of Fremont, right? And they're interested in meeting with Tyson as well. So I've been meaning to get with you, Julie, because I presented his program, the Black program in particular, to them so that we can not only educate our students, but also the parents in the community, right? Because remember, he was talking about us all being on the same level and on the same page. So they're interested in having him come as a guest to speak to them. So maybe if you can connect us, that would, yes. I think we shared some information, but if I could speak to him personally, and we could get him on the agenda for the City of Fremont Commission meetings. Yeah.
We'll connect on that for sure.
Awesome. Okay.
And if I remember correctly, he did invite some members to go to, I believe it was Monterey
Mhm.
County a few days after that meeting. He is doing something, I believe, Thursday evening remotely with, I believe, Castro Valley or Hayward.
Oh,
So I could outreach him to see if I could share that with everyone on this call to see if they have time Thursday night to possibly join, if that's allowable by Tyson. So I will send that out to the APAC committee if Tyson's okay with that, with the meetings. But I know it's this Thursday night, and it's either with Castro Valley Unified or Hayward Unified. I can't remember what district he said.
that would be great.
Yeah, that would be good. I love that it's virtual.
Right.
Yeah, that makes it easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Let's see, what else do we have? Let's see, Black Student Union and district-wide events. So are we all in agreement with some of the plans that were laid out on the agenda in regards to the t-shirt design competition on 3 different levels, district-wide? I don't know if we're all looking at that, but do we have to vote on that, agree on that, Greg, and then proceed forward with?
Sorry for the interruption. Can we do a quick recap on the t-shirt design? There's a lot of conversations going on, so I'm not specifically understanding. The t-shirt design is relevant to which aspect?
To the BSU.
Got it.
Yeah. So I think all of this was stemmed from us wanting to have a BSU, a district-wide BSU, collaborative, effort between the schools within the district. And so we were trying to solicit support from outside of leadership that can kind of help us develop. And that's why we're pulling in the Tysons and the Mark Gaskins, is to try to, gain some, advice, experience, and guidance from them to develop what we're trying to create within our school district for the BSU. And so in one of those things that we're trying to initiate is, being part of a team or being part of like a family, and these t-shirts will do that. Like any group usually has a t-shirt, a hat, or something, connecting them together. So we were thinking of having and making it creative and collaborative, and make where all the districts, schools, I guess, individual schools, all grade levels, I believe, would just create a couple of designs, submit it, and then the winner would have a pizza party or something like that. But the goal is to get some group effort going on where they look like they belong together, or with these particular t-shirts.
Got it.
And I think we said on certain days, if there's an event at night, that we could send an email out to all of them. Hey, wear your shirts today at school. It would be it would be a good way to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
And we said we have money for the shirts, so there would be no cost for the families to get the shirts. That would all be taken care of for them.
Yeah. Which is great to know, right? Let's see, HBCU Info Night. We're also wanting to. So should we go and vote on each step, or do we want to vote on it all collectively, or what do you guys think? Or do we have to vote, Greg?
I don't know if we have to vote. I don't know. I don't think it would hurt if we did vote. Sometimes I think when we do vote, it kind of puts us on notice that we said we were going to do this, and I know that helps me.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay if we took a vote.
So should we vote on each bullet point, or do we just want to vote on the whole thing collectively? The t-shirts. We're thinking about the HBUC Info Night, and that's, I think, where Mark comes in as well. Kimberly, is his college prep night program that he has, that we want to try to introduce to our parents and the families. And that's something that we need to do right away. From my understanding, the kids are, preparing to go to college sooner rather than later. So if we do that, it has to be soon, right?
Well, so the idea is if he does join us next month for our meeting, he can kind of give us an idea of what the capabilities are. And from there, we can decide if we want to proceed with them. And if so, how quickly.
And I think he's wanting a stipend, but we didn't figure out how much his stipend was, right?
Yeah, we did not figure that out. I did not go into detail as to what that would look like and what the requirements are. So at this point, it's just a matter, we know that there is a stipend. At this point, I thought it would be nice to bring him along just to share with us what their capabilities are, what they can do,
First. Okay.
and go from there.
Okay. And if there is a stipend, Greg, do we have the finances to possibly be able to?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it would be nice, Kimberly, hate to put you on the spot, if you kind of had an idea about that stipend, right around that December 13th. So if we want to move forward, we have that information kind of readily at hand.
Okay, thank you.
And then let's see, the Google Classroom, did we ever collaborate with the other?
Yeah, here I did get some information with the Google Classroom. We can have, and it would be under my account, we can have 1,000 members in one class. So that would definitely be enough for our students. We're getting email addresses now from them through with our IT department. So I would have to send them an invite to join. But we discussed to have that Google Classroom where we could have all of our resources on it, all the HCBU events, any parent nights we're doing, any type of information we could go in there that kids will be able to access no matter what school they are at. But we can have up to 1,000 class members. And then it also says we can have up to 20 guardians or parents. So I don't know if we would like to have maybe a separate classroom for parents. The problem with the parents ones, they have to be in our domain and they don't have our email addresses. So that we might have to kind of work to see how we could get one for the parents. But with this one, this will definitely house all of our students. And what I would like to do with that is I would like to give everyone on this call access to it so everyone could post things on there or add things as they see fit. But it is very doable. I was going to, over this weekend, after I'm watching the Niners win again, I will start building the classroom. And then I'll share it with everybody so we could all tweak it and put our own lenses on it. But this will be TK through 12. So we have to remember that some of our younger students will also be accessing this. So we just have to be mindful of, some of the things that might be posted on there. I don't know, Julie might have more experience on, can we put filters on it or anything like that. But I'm excited about this Google Classroom on what can be done. What I've done is I looked at some other districts like virtual wellness rooms to see how they kind of coordinate it. So I'm kind of working on that, and hopefully I can share that with you sometime next week to see, put your eyes on it and put your lenses on it.
That sounds good.
And so for our APAC members to be a part of it, they would have to have an FUSD email account, or is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
there might be a workaround with that.
Okay.
I'll have to work with Mel Easley in our technology department. I'm sure he could figure it out.
Okay.
But I know with the students, we are going to use our students' email addresses when
And
we do
so-
that invite.
I was just going to mention too, Google Classroom has a feature for once you invite the students to be a part of the Google Classroom, then the student or one of us could invite the parent to be linked with the student's account. And so that's one way that the parents would still get the information too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And I got a rough list, and I don't have it with me or broken down by school site, but the technology department ran a report for me. And these were students who have identified as African American or multi-race. And we have about 900 students. We're going to drill it down to make sure that we're capturing the proper number of students. But right now, it's about 909 to be exact. We're still tweaking that report, but I'll be able to have that report finalized before our next meeting.
And that's district-wide, Greg? Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
909 African-American students, and those that identify?
Correct.
Oh, wow. That's more than I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
And how they pulled that report, I would have to ask how they pulled that report. So I'll have more information with that. But the initial report I got today was 909 students.
Can we break it down to see how many special education students we have within that group? And within the African American children, but also just in general, because I'm also a part of the SELPA, Mission Valley SELPA, and I'm the new chair for that organization. So I'm just trying to,
so many hats here, Deja.
I know. I'm just trying to be the bridge to all the gaps and to every area that's important to me, right? And to my family, and that should be important to our community. And so I wanted, and not many people know about the SELPA. I'm sorry to switch gears on you guys, but I didn't learn about it till last year because my son ended up going to Mission Valley for a little bit, and they're huge, advocates of that program, those services that they have. I never heard of it prior. My son's 11 years old. That's a shame. If I hadn't heard of it till most recently, can you imagine how many other parents don't know about it? So I was like, okay, let's see how many African-American parents like me don't know. But even beyond that, I like to go any parent that is within the school district, no matter what race, nationality, gender, creed, don't know about the SELPA. They should, because it's a free resource, free program, around children with special educational needs. So can we get?
Yeah, I'm sure they could put a filter in it where it would identify the special ed students. So yes, I'm pretty sure they can do that on their back end. So yes, we could try that.
And then I could share with you information about the SELPA that we can, maybe their newsletter, so they can register and start getting that information. I just want them to get the information.
Sure.
Start getting that information themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. So Black History Month we want to start working towards that. Tyson and Mark Gaskins can both help in those areas too, I believe. Kimberly, if you want me to be a part of your meeting with Mark, we could do a conference call or something, or a Zoom, where we could just talk to him about everything that we're trying to do. And Tyson's already aware that, I think did we mention Black History Month to him and kind of how we needed his guidance in that area? Because we need to do that, I guess, sooner rather than later, right? Because it's coming up.
Okay. So you're suggesting that you yourself and I and Mark have a conversation prior to December 13th?
If you want, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't feel, if you feel comfortable asking him all these things, then that's fine. But
that was part of my challenge. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that we have a purpose here, but for me to articulate what we're looking for based on what he provides, I felt that I wasn't, I didn't have enough information. That's why I suggested he could just come and present to all of us, let us know what he's doing. Of course, we would need to give him some input as to what our mission is, what our purpose is, and see if there's some collaboration efforts there that way.
That's a great idea. And that's what we agreed to do. So I guess then we don't need to have a meeting with him. We just need to invite him and let him give his spiel, and then we can go from there, I guess. All right. Okay.
That would be good. Thank you.
Let's see, topics for next meeting. Do we have any topics for the next meeting other than anything that we've discussed already? Anybody?
I don't know if it needs to be at the next meeting, but we did do that survey last year that we said we would like to send out again this year. I don't think it needs to be right now, but it is something that we probably should look at that survey again. And I don't think it should be in December, but at some point, maybe in January or February, we look at that survey and make changes and modifications to some of the questions if we deem that we need to make changes.
Pardon me. So with regard to that survey, parents that expressed interest in learning more about it or being more involved with it. Are we able to extend invites to attend our meetings, or that's not the right forum?
Yes, so anybody could attend these meetings, and they would be on the Zoom or Google Meet now. The only thing they will not be able to do is like when we approve minutes,
Mm-hmm.
they can't approve minutes.
Okay.
They really can't make a motion if there's a motion that needs to be made. But by all means, we will encourage them to participate and at least be aware of what we're discussing, but they won't be able to vote
Okay.
on items.
So at
And-
least they could sit in and they could be like a sponge and take the
Oh,
information
absolutely.
and figure out
Yeah.
how they want to help or what's important to them in
Yep.
regard to this effort.
Yep.
So are we able to like send everybody invites to our next meeting or send them to every meeting? I just don't know if it's, I don't know if it's overload, but I'm thinking the more we can keep inviting people, and at some point they're going to start.
Yeah, I think that'll be up to us to decide. I think what we decided as a group, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I'm forgetting things in my old age, but I think what we decided is that we would have kind of a small meeting every 2 weeks,
Okay.
but then invite a lot of people at that once a month meeting. That way, when we have our small meeting, we could be doing more of the nuts and bolts and figuring out what needs to be done.
Strategy.
I think we can send links out, as a parent. I think some might get upset with us and some would enjoy it. So it's like, it's trying to find that balance. I will do whatever the group wants to do with how and when and if we invite everybody.
Right. Okay.
And well,
So the small meetings we have every 2 weeks, and then we can invite everyone else to the one big meeting we have once a month.
Yeah, and what we could do, Kimberly, is we could do a simple survey to the parents to say, hey, would you like to be invited to our monthly meetings? If so, please check yes at this box, and that way we could capture their emails and we could just send the link to them. So I'm going to get those email addresses fairly quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then we would also be able to, once we get the Google Classroom set up, we can also share, information there. And if people want to join, then they can that way as well, right, through the Google Classroom. But of course, I guess we need to get it out to the masses, to the schools, right? So that maybe let the schools know in a newsletter, or how would you communicate that to the principals at the schools within the district, right?
What we are incorporating now when we have our principal meeting, we have one on Thursday of this week. Every director who oversees a committee provides all the principals with the recap and things that we are working on. So I will speak about the wellness committee and the AAPAC committee on Thursday with all the principals. And like Kim Kelly, she'll speak about the curriculum instruction. Christy Rocha will speak about DLAC. So we are starting now to provide input or provide information to our principals at our monthly meetings with them.
What is DLAC?
DLAC is for English learners.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good, because then it's no point in having a Google Classroom if we're the only ones that know about it, right? Like, it needs to needs to go out into the newsletters, and then I guess each school has their own. They have Facebook. I know Horner has Facebook page. I would imagine all the other schools have that as well. I'm just looking at my old notes I pulled up. Did we ever find out what schools have after school tutoring programs? I know tutoring was like a big deal to a lot of folk.
No, not by school. I know. No, I don't have a coordinated one yet.
Okay.
I know Patterson has tutoring for English language. They have tutors. They just November, the beginning of November.
I know Horner does, and I believe Hirsch as well, Hirsch Elementary. But I think that's some good information that we can get out, and that could be something that we can share on the Google Classroom too. Is I think, with the the gap in learning due to distance learning, right? I think this is like important. I mean, it's never too late, but better late than never to get those tutoring resources out to folks.
So if I may, I apologize. I have to transition. I have another meeting to attend at 7. I'm going to stay on, but I just need to get off camera and mute myself. So I'm still very much listening. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. I don't know. Does anyone have anything else to add? Anything that you guys want to add to the agenda? Want to highlight? Chris, what's up?
Yeah, do we happen to know the attendance or attenders or membership numbers for the BSUs at the schools? I'm wondering how many might participate in this t-shirt contest.
We could get those numbers. We don't have those readily available, but I could ask the principals or the BSU advisors to give us that number. We did have, I don't know if Chris, you were there, we had Alexandra from American and Kevin from Kennedy that was present a couple meetings ago. But no, we could get that number for you, and we could even probably break it down by grade if that makes any sense to us.
Do we want to try to encourage membership and attendance there in those BSUs? Do we want to maybe have some events at the schools and have them sponsored by the BSUs in order for them to get credit? Make it kind of a cool, hip group.
Yeah, and I think Alexandra and Kevin were very intrigued by doing that. They want to get more participation. But yes, that's something that we can invite all the advisors now, because some of them weren't able to attend. Maybe that's one of our meetings, Chris, where we invite all the BSU advisors. And maybe that's a meeting where we have our smaller group so we can discuss before we publicly state something to the general public out there.
I bring that up because I failed in my salesmanship to try and encourage my daughter and her friend to join. So, because I wanted them, she's very artistic. I wanted her to participate in this t-shirt contest. And that kind of made me think, when you now bring up the stipends, well, if you could stipend some of these presenters to come on campus in the auditorium and have it sponsored by the BSU, you could increase some participation and membership. People coming just to listen and learn and then learn more about the BSUs.
Yeah. And I think with Black History Month coming up, that's a good sponsoring event that they can sponsor, and hopefully with the assistance and support and guidance of Tyson and/or Mark. So I think once we meet with these fellas again and find out how they can help us, then we can maybe have them come to the meeting that we're going to have with the BSU advisors, and then they can just like hash out plans and start, making something happen from there. So I guess we're all in agreement on the t-shirt contest. Yes, everybody's voting yes to that. Okay. All right. What else? Anything else? Tamara, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was looking up the 19th annual Black College Expo in Oakland is going to be on February 26, 2022 at the Oakland Marriott at the City Center.
Okay, that's something we need to definitely get on the.
Yeah, because I went a couple years ago with my niece, and they do a step show. The juniors and seniors bring they transcript, they get accepted on the spot there. They get to meet other people. So I know I'm taking my son this year and my daughter, even though she's 12, but I'm taking both of them. So I thought that was a good idea. I'm also reaching out to my friend Ebony, who did a presentation on HBCU. She's in San Diego, so she's going to send me the information on what she presented to school out there in San Diego. So she's going to send me that information.
Is there a flyer for the February 26th date?
Yeah, it's online.
Okay.
It's on. If you look up this Oakland Black College Expo, then you'll see it online. It's a flyer. because usually they usually print them out. Because I know I used to have them in my office at work all the time. Because I print them out, put them on my door in my office, and so I know that we can get some flyers.
Yeah, because we could print some and then send it to all the sites so they could
Yeah.
distribute that way,
I'll
and they
try
could
to
put it in the newsletter.
try to contact them, see if
Okay.
I can get some flyers. Oh, there's a number. Good, there's a number. Or visit our website. Yeah.
And so were we going to develop some kind of flyer to advertise the t-shirt contest?
I think we should.
What is it? I'm
Try to
sorry.
get my son or my daughter to do it because they both are really good in drawing. I've tried to get them to try to do it. My daughter said maybe because she can draw really well and paint. So maybe if I give her a little incentive, she'll do it.
Well, maybe we should have some. Well, oh, I guess no. It would be a reward for the whole school that won, not just the individual. Is that how we planned it or discussed it?
Yeah, I think what we could do is, of course, that individual would, I imagine, have their name or initials somewhere on the logo or next to the logo, and then maybe that school's BSU, they get a pizza party or whatever we decide to do with that. But I think what Julie said is that that's probably something that we probably should start working on is how are we going to promote this T-shirt design? Maybe it is a flyer or something that we could start giving out to students, and we could have the deadline of when it has to be submitted and all those criteria on that. So
I think the flyer would be good. I'll put them up at Washington and Centerville. I go there every day to pick the kids up.
That's a good idea. Do we have a marketing team or anybody that can, or are we that?
Yeah. Which is the group that did all the marketing and advertising for the Spirit Week? Because that was very popular. Can we utilize that group?
that's typically done with our ASB, our leadership students. But I could tell you, Chris, anytime you get students involved, they seem to do a good job of promoting better than what I can do.
So how can we solicit their support?
Yeah, but
Maybe
I think what we
incentivize
would
them
have to
attend a
do
pizza
is,
party.
yeah, what we would have to do is come up with like what internal deadlines do we want? What kind of criteria we're looking for. That way we could tell them kind of the instructions or rules before we send it out. So that might be something we could think about and maybe decide on December 13th
With the advisors.
to really finalize that and how we could start promoting that.
Yeah, that's a good idea because we don't know what the leaders are, what direction they want to go in, or what their think of rules and right instructions. All right. What about Bridget? Miss Bridget James, do you have anything to add if you're there? Advisory.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to know how.
You cut out on us or on me. We didn't catch it, Bridget.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yes.
now? Can you hear me now? Like the Verizon.
Yeah.
I want to know how can I keep in contact if I wanted to email someone besides waiting for the meeting once a month. If I wanted to get in contact with someone, how could I do that? Because I want to help.
Yeah, I think we could all put our emails in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I could send you everyone's email. If everyone's okay with that, that might be easier if I just send you everyone's email, Bridget.
Do we have your email, Bridget? Maybe you could put yours in the chat,
I'll
and
just do
then
that right now.
Gray could send.
Yeah, I think it's easier.
Because I want to help with. Please.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead,
done.
Bridget.
Thanks.
My apologies.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. We're happy that you're willing to help with this.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I was going to suggest when Greg sends his communication, perhaps he's going to share emails. If he can also share a link for the application for APAC, just kind of an informational, that would be awesome, because I know I've got a couple of people that have inquired, so I'd like to forward them the applications as well.
Yes, I can do that.
That
Yep.
sound good? Oh, great. Thank you so much.
And the participants for the committee, Greg, are Fremont School District parents, right? Any parent within the Fremont School
That's
District?
correct.
Because then I'll market it in the other committees that I'm like, okay, let's just like interlink everybody and, you know, see what happens. All right. It's 6:54. I have nothing else. Sounds like we're slated to meet on December 13th. Right. We're going to have Mark Gaskins hopefully attend. And is Tyson coming back that same day as well?
We could invite them, or we could wait till I report out with our meeting with the district and him on Thursday, and then see how we would like to proceed with that. So maybe we don't do them on the 13th. Maybe we do it the following meeting. But I would want, this is just me, like I said, I want to be held accountable to make sure I get done what I need to get done. So on December 13th, I will have more information about the Google Classroom. You guys will have access to that prior to see if we could start building resources in it, any events that are coming up. Like Tamara, the February 26th would be a perfect one to put in there so everyone could access that. So we could start working on that. That will hold me accountable. But I don't know if we want to start putting together and have people be prepared to figure out the t-shirt design, what rules we want to have in place with that. So we could finalize that flyer or brochure or whatever we're going to send out on the 13th. Just so I just want to make sure the things that we're going to do, we have some timelines that we're going to kind of work on.
What day were we going to invite the advisors? That same day as well?
We, like I said, I think that maybe that's something we discuss on the 13th is maybe kind of map out all of our next meetings on who wants to come and who should we invite.
Create an agenda.
Yeah, that would be my 2 cents.
No, that's good. So if we're doing,
because next meeting is our working meeting, right?
Yeah, our next meetings are our working meetings, so that is something that we could really, people could bring in. Like if somebody wants to start figure out what we want to do for Black History Month, maybe have a skeleton of what that might look like for the 3 different grade levels, or grade spans, I should say. And that way we could kind of work on those together as a small group instead of having a big general meeting where everyone hears what we're doing.
So should we invite the BSU advisors on the 13th as well?
That is a very good, yeah, I think we could.
I mean, because I think in order to get the instructions and the, you know, the criteria around the t-shirts, I think their input would be valuable, right? Like, we don't know what, you know, what they're doing, so, or what they have done, and we want to kind of be consistent with what's been done for the most part, I would think. So if we can get them on the 13th, if not, then whatever next available date we have on the calendar, we can present that to them.
How about if I offer December 13th to the BSU advisors, let's say 6:15? Would that be a good time to have them join us?
Yeah.
And then how long would you like with them?
Well, so we have the hour, right? Just pretty much. And Mark's coming.
Right.
So I guess, I mean,
well, we're hoping that Mark comes. So we would have to kind of strategically plan that so that Mark could either be there from 6 to 6:15 or have Mark come at 6:45 to 7. I think we should kind of give him a designated time so there's no overlap.
and it would be good for the advisors to hear what he has to offer, I think, as well. So,
Okay.
but then we also want time to collaborate with the advisors too.
Yes.
So maybe we have Mark speak first. Let's have Mark come at 6:15, okay? And then the conversation will be going, right? And then we could start talking about all the ideas that we have, and then we could maybe get, of course, the advisors' input as well, and maybe Mark has something to add as well.
So invite Mark to join us at 6:15, and he will stay for the duration.
And he can stay if he wants. So we'll say he could speak from 6:15 to, I don't know, give him 20 minutes, 15 minutes, what, 20?
Yeah, probably
and
15
then
minutes.
and then
yeah, with Q&A, and then allow him to stay for the duration of our meeting
if he wants. Tell him we would
I'll-
like him to, because we have some BSU advisors from the district, different schools within the district attending, and we wanted to just pick his brain, or if he's available.
Okay, certainly, I will do that. And on that note, folks, I got to go. My 7 o'clock is about to start. I'll be in touch via email, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night.
So we'll do invite the BSU advisors at 6:30.
Yes. No, well, shouldn't they hear Mark too? No, they should be there at 6:15 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But we'll really have Mark present at 6:15.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, Greg, sorry, we messed up your list of to-dos, because you're going to make sure that you bring up to the committee on to the principals and just directors on Thursday about the Google Classroom, and then our T-shirt idea, and
Yeah,
then
I was
something
going to
else?
mention everything that we hope to accomplish. So yes, they'll get all that information on Thursday. The principals will.
And then you're going to ask him, how can we communicate this, get this information out to the masses? Okay.
And that's where I think the December 13th with the BSU advisors, they really are going to help us pushing this message out, because they're the ones that have, daily contact with the students.
Right. Okay. And then you'll try to get how many BSU students are in the district, period. Okay. And special education students, African American and or other. I guess if we could have a breakdown. If we could do a breakdown of it, that would be ideal.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's it for me. Anybody else have anything before we go? It's 7:01. No?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll share that Google Classroom with you sometime next week. Please do not rip it apart, change it how you think students would want this, because I'm a 52-year-old man. I want to be able that a 16-year-old and an 8-year-old would want to look at, not something that I want to look at. At least that's what my wife always tells me. So.
All right. Maybe we should have some kids look it up. Set it up for us. All right.
Bad idea.
We appreciate you, Greg. Thank you for all that you do for the committee. And Julie and everybody, thank you. Have a good evening. Meeting's adjourned.
Yep. Everyone have a good night.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.